lore heads, and welcome to the League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
Today we're talking about the Hound of 100 Bytes, Naafiri, who was just released July 20th, 2023.
Yeah.
Almost had my birthday.
So close.
So close, Riot.
They're giving us 2 of them, and they've given you none of them. That's fucked
I
up.
know. I don't think I've
It's
gotten
one for him and one for me. It's fine.
That's true.
And none for me still.
None for you.
I don't even get half. It's fine.
Soon.
It's fine.
Soon. We'll get one soon. Next year.
There could even still be a champion. We just haven't gotten to them yet.
That's true.
That's true.
It doesn't have to be a new one.
And just as a heads up for everyone, I'm going to be looking down more this episode because I'm down to one monitor today, so I have to read my notes off my phone. So I'm not being rude. I'm sorry. I would love to make eye contact with you the whole time, but I just can't.
Unceasing, unblinking eye contact for the entirety of the podcast.
I'm just noticing that's kind of what we do when I'm doing the intro, and like I don't know where else to look, but I'm just staring you dead in the eyes. So I'm like, "Hello, lore heads, welcome to the League." That's
like
a Halloween episode. All right, I looked up Naafiri. I listened to Naafiri. I don't know how I'm supposed to do this.
No, you got this. It's super easy.
Also, I didn't write down any quotes.
Oh, I didn't.
I have some.
Okay,
Did
let's
you write
see.
down 3 quotes?
Ugh.
I read them, but I'm trying
Technically-
to remember what she says. Oh,
Okay,
I know
well,
one.
you obviously want to read the second one.
Whichever.
Still some meat on those metal bones.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That was
you.
really good.
Oh,
All right.
thank you. Just imagining echoing, because it kind of echoes when she talks.
Yeah, effects and like extra voices layered in. Who's a good dog? We are.
That's adorable.
I'm sorry. Did you wish to smell my backside?
Okay, but
Thank
what is
you.
her quote? Like,
I'm always sniffing that booty. No, I'm not.
but you are like, it is funny because I am constantly smelling my baby's butt.
Oh
to see
my
if she's
god, I
pooped in the
smell her
back, right?
ass. She loves it too. If I go down and start sniffing her butt, she starts laughing
Really?
every time. It makes her laugh. Yeah,
Pretty funny.
apparently it's hilarious.
Apparently.
Well, on the Riot Universe page, Naafiri has a bio.
That's it.
We didn't realize she didn't have a short story yet, y'all.
I kind of just assumed that I was like, almost in my brain, I manifested seeing some Reddit post like, oh, Naafiri's short story, whatever, has been released, right? But, they didn't
Yeah.
even link her cinematic, her release cinematic.
No,
know, right?
her
Which is
cinematic's
weird.
not even released, and it's
Just
dope.
cool as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? This just means that when the short story gets released, we'll do a revisit. So more
Yeah.
content, baby.
We'll just have 2 25-minute episodes.
I do kind of like it because it's like it's like really on the ground floor, and it's like we can kind of we'll be able to track what happens with Naafiri every step of the way.
We can
That
make our
one
predictions
step.
now and then see how wrong we were.
Oh, I love that.
Don't worry, we'll all be old and dead before they ever come back to Naafiri and actually advance anything.
I know. I felt like the short story would have just been what the cinematic was, which is just what her bio is, but we didn't even get that.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
fine.
much.
All right, well, Naafiri's bio. I'll get into it.
All right.
Naafiri was just a normal Darkin imprisoned in her crypt. Her soul is bound to a weapon, a knife. Like all Darkin, they're bound to their former weapons. She was once a powerful Darkin, but had been tricked by an aspect named Maisha?
Maisha.
Thank
Which
you.
is Zoe.
Oh! I didn't know that.
Well, Zoe's the current.
Yeah. Zoe is
Avatar, but it's the aspect of Twilight.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Anyway, now she's a knife. One day, a man finally stumbled across her prison. She hoped he would touch the blade so she could take his body, like Aatrox does. But he is somehow the smartest person in Runeterra, and he picks up Naafiri with some tongs instead.
Just like
Do you
a
think he
kid-
does
just
the-
like an oven mitt.
Do you think he does the test clicks before he picks it up?
Blows them off. It's like a Golden Corral buffet. Like, yeah, some fried chicken, mashed potatoes, Darkin blade, throw some of that on the plate.
In the cinematic, it had a big, very noticeable blinking eyeball. Do you think it also did?
Probably would be my guess, although I do want to learn more about this human who went in there specifically looking for a Darkin blade.
What are you going to do with it, bud?
Well, unfortunately, he's in the belly of a bunch of dogs, so...
Yeah, he's pooped now. Naafiri traveled with him for a while until she sensed some dune hounds nearby. She called to them hoping that the man would slip up and use Naafiri's knife, but he didn't, and they ripped him apart. Naafiri was then bound to the entire pack, which is like dozens of doggies. Lots of them. Naafiri was pretty pissed about this, but over time realized that everyone works best in groups. We all need friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Dogs, humans, maybe even Darkin. Naafiri believes their downfall was how they fought with each other rather than together, so she plans to find her fellow Darkin and make them a new pack.
Mm-hmm.
Oh!
Oh.
Ow, ow.
How?
Good one.
So, in this situation, you're the guy,
Sure,
right?
I'm this man. Okay.
You kind of know what's going to happen if you touch that knife.
Right.
But you also know if
You're
you
gonna
don't touch that
die.
knife, you're going to get literally torn apart and eaten by the dogs that are right here. Do you touch that knife?
Yes.
Me too.
I'm a coward.
I mean, I don't know what it means to even have a Darkin all up in me. I don't know, man.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Either you've got a Darkin all up in you, or you are all up in a Darkin, which is what this guy is right now.
That's true. You know what? It's probably good to touch the knife because you might be in a Kane situation. You might be in an
That's what I'm
Aatrox scenario.
Like,
Maybe you meet the love of your life that day, you know?
This whole bio really made me think more about the Darkin and like going through her quotes too, because she seems very convinced if she can just unite the Darkin, which for the record, I feel like we have multiple references of there being 5.
Including her quotes.
Including her quotes, including Mage Seeker. There's supposedly 5 of them.
Okay.
Now, she thinks that reuniting the 5 of them, they're gonna like take over the world. Let me do a quick recap for you here. Kane, not strong enough to take over the one fucking human they're inhabiting, right? Or Rost, rather.
Yeah.
Not strong
Get it
enough
right.
to take over the one human they're
Well,
inhabiting.
Kane's a champion, though. You know, that's not his fault.
And
No.
and let's go Varys. Okay. Varys, not strong enough to take over the 2, not strong enough to drown out the 2 humans who are in their mind either.
I'll take your word for that. I don't quite know what's up with what Varys' deal is. Like, I know the broad strokes, but I didn't know that Varys had not taken over. I don't know.
Here, let me see.
Is it like a timeshare situation? Like,
They rotate out.
rotate.
So essentially, and I have the all the names written down here, but I'm on my phone, so it's hard for me to navigate to them.
It's okay, we can cut all this, hon.
Okay. We're not going to.
I'm sorry. We had like a little bit of Malibu left in the fridge, and I was like, what would be a good idea? So now I'm halfway through this glass of Malibu and pineapple juice I made, and I don't drink a lot of liquor.
That's what's happening. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
It's going to be that kind of episode. I mean, I think...
It is.
I don't know. So who else? We've got Varys, Aatrox.
Kai and Valmar. Okay, those are the names. Kai and Valmar.
Okay.
Those are the 2 who are currently fighting for control over the Varys body right now. Varys, Kai, and Valmar. Kai and Valmar are kind of the couple. And Varys, not strong enough to drown him out. He hears them in his head all the fucking time. Cannot drown them out. Aatrox, strong, right? He takes over bodies pretty well. Unfortunately, he takes over bodies too well, and then they fucking just die so fast. He needs to keep taking over bodies over and over again. And when he runs out, he just sits there as a fucking sword until people touch him again, because he just destroys the bodies so fast. I have no reason to believe that if she's able to gather these 5 Darkin together, that they're going to do anything. They do not seem like the threat that she thinks they are.
Well, she doesn't have all the knowledge you do right now.
That's true. I would kind of like that if there was a little bit of like, if that was intentional, that she's been stuck as a dagger for eons, and she comes in and it's like, oh fuck, shit's gone way fucking downhill.
Right? Like they were like hot shit back then.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, what the fuck is this?
She runs into Kale and she's like, oh shit. And there's a bunch of Aurelian soul comes down.
Right? The one aspect
Fucking
imprisoned
void.
them forever. They're like, wait, there are more aspects now? Come on.
It's not just
like
one.
It's like the world's best like user of an old flintlock musket like showed up in modern times and was like, I'm gonna take over this motherfucker.
So it's
Spend 3 minutes reloading this son bitch. Yeah.
I love that.
Another weird thing that I guess again just kind of points me towards incompetence for the Darkin.
God, she's really you're really
just
ripping on
fucking
him.
dog him. Heyo. She's looking for the other Darkin, and so Mark, you read the short story that supposedly references her, which is a Varys short story.
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
Because I mentioned it, I was like, oh, I see she's mentioned, and then you're like, oh, she's almost kind of not even explicitly mentioned. It's super vague, and I was like, well, fuck, don't worry about that then.
Oh, okay.
That's a Varys story.
To be fair, it's true. It's literally the last line of the story, and Varys is like something like, "Now to find sister."
They probably just added that right when they released Naafiri. Like, no one will know. Just put this
Maybe.
line at the end.
But the thing is, so we've met 4 of the 5 Darkin within League, and the 5th one is in Legends of Runeterra already.
I mean, so this is why I raised that finger earlier about the 5, is because Legends of Runeterra introduced like another half dozen, and it's like,
oh,
can we even take? I will continue to argue that I don't know if we can ever take Runeterra as a source of truth around like anything serious like this. Little bits of like, oh, this is something, this like things that fill out the world, sure, but like how many Darkin there are and who's like actually a Darkin, I'm gonna lean towards like the 5 and shit more than, hey, we needed to fill out a bunch of Darkin cards so we can have a Darkin deck or what the fuck ever, right?
Darkin deck. That's the sequel to Darkwing Duck.
Right?
They kind of sound the same.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think if this is explicitly mentioned anywhere or hinted at otherwhere, but I'm pretty sure Zolani is supposed to be the 5th one.
I think, yeah, that would kind of make sense. She's kind of like the main Darkin character almost in the Runeterra stuff, and I feel like she has been mentioned before. I could be wrong. I'm the only time I asked, but I feel like she's been mentioned.
I'm pretty sure she was
somewhere.
Now, I mentioned this before. Wasn't she the statue without a head in
That's kind of what I thought, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe she'll be released by the time we get to the Z's.
Maybe. Well,
I think it's X's, actually.
Fuck. Of course it is.
Sorry, Zyra's still.
I know, right? It is a double A, like Naafiri. And Aatrox.
Why doesn't Varys have 2 A's?
Right? He's really, like, primed to have... Varys and Kayn should have double A's. Come on.
Because they haven't taken over yet.
Oh,
Maybe
wait,
that's
Ross.
why.
Oh, that'll be the new
Ross
Varys
has,
bio. It'll be
yeah.
like, no longer Varys, but
Fuck, I hope so. Oh my god.
oh shit, that'd be great.
That would be great. But yeah, so he mentions looking for a sister. There are 2 female Darkin from what I know. So it could be Naafiri, could be Zolani. I don't think we have confirmation one way or the other. But one thing that is for sure is Varys is in Shurima. Now, it's understandable that she cannot find the other Darkin. They're kind of scattered all over the place. Aatrox has been all over the place. Been like Targon. I think he was in God, was he in the Freljord at some point?
It's
or
hard.
Did he just scare out some barbarians?
He was. I think he. Fuck me. I think he was. It's hard to remember because I know there's like old lore with Tryndamere and Aatrox, and I don't know if that's still going on. I assume not.
I don't know either.
But that feels right.
Yeah, so he travels around. He's doing his thing. makes total sense that she can't find him.
Mm-hmm.
Kane, same deal. He's in Ionia, although the fact that he was unable to sync up with Varys when the two of them were in Ionia, blind as fuck, I guess. But
I mean, how
her
do
whole
they
thing,
recognize each other?
I assume she can call out to wolves and bring their I assume they have some sort of way to like sense each other, right? I would assume so. Otherwise, if she's hoping to just stumble across them all just randomly, that's also a bad plan, Naafiri.
Maybe it's like they have a little secret handshake. It's like, oh fuck, Darkin.
Oh no, I don't have fingers. Fuck.
She uses her tongue.
That's the other thing. Can she actually talk, or is she one of the ones who were just hearing her voice, but she's dog and can't talk? Do we know? Would she be able to communicate with them anyway?
We need like a scientist here. None of us are smart enough to answer this question. Can dogs talk? We don't know. The lore heads can't answer this dilemma.
I need Freak to walk out in a lab coat. We at Riot have been
mixing chemicals in beakers.
Can dogs talk, Freak? We need to know.
Dog talk. Huh.
I've seen a lot of movies where dogs talk, is the thing.
That's true. I have too.
I hate when they make the lips move.
Look Who's Talking 3.
3 now. It's Look Who's
Look Who's Talking Now.
Come on.
Look Who's Talking Now. Fucking, I was gonna say Airbud, but Airbud doesn't talk in Airbud.
No. Homeward Bound.
Sure, that's a good one. What's the one?
That's the rest of the podcast.
Let's name other movies where dogs talk. The one with Kevin Spacey? No, he was a cat.
We watched one that was one of the puppy ones with Halloween, the Halloween Hound. I don't remember what the series is.
Right.
God.
Is that Spooky Buddies? Is that
Spooky
the Airbud
Buddies.
spinoff?
Spooky
and they
Buddies,
had the Christmas
Halloween
one too, right?
Yeah.
Mark, don't pretend. You and Sarah have watched a bunch of the Buddies movies, haven't you?
I mean, look, I'm not saying that we run a separate Buddies Head like podcast or anything, but do go look up Buddy Heads on anywhere that podcasts are found.
Should that be some bonus episode on Patreon? You and Sarah doing Buddy's Head
with no context. Just this is episode 937 of Buddy's Heads. I forgot your original point. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, Ken Naafiri talk.
Ken Naafiri talk, and also
I don't
just
think
like.
So, honey.
Okay. Well, then she must have some way to communicate with the other Darkin, and if not, this is a huge flaw in her plan already. Just, I'm unimpressed with the Darkin. They think they're a much bigger threat than I think they are.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't seen like Viego and his hot cross buns yet. They don't know what Runeterra holds.
That's true. I don't know. I try to be really nice when I say I think people kind of dick ride the Darkin a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I guess I just like. I'm kind of in your camp too. I'm not terribly impressed with them, and I think they've been around for so long. Like we were talking about, there's definitely old lore with Aatrox to the point that's like, it feels a little bit like baggage from old lore. Like, oh, the Darkin have been around. The Darkin, we gotta know what's going on with the Darkin. But it's like, I don't know. Do we really give a shit about the Darkin that much? Like, there's cool ideas with the Darkin. Don't get me wrong. And like that Twilight of the Gods story is really good, and that's a Darkin piece entirely.
I think the Darkin are cool. I'm not scared of the Darkin. I'm not worried that they're going to be one of the apocalyptic world because there's like 15 of them.
Yeah.
Darkin don't even go in the top 50 for me.
No, I think a lot of just regular league champions we've stumbled across can take them. I think Annie's got it. Like, just send Annie there and she'll take care of them.
Ivern. Yeah.
Right? Varys is an AD carry. Literally anyone, any champion in the game.
Volibear can jump on him and he's fucking dead.
Yeah.
Gragas
AP
could belly
Jarvan,
flop
it.
him and he's dead.
You know, I think some of that might come about because it's kind of like what you're kind of talking about is that the fact that they're kind of wildly different in their depiction across the various champions in terms of like what even is a fucking Darkin in some way, you know? Like, I mean, I know the actual answer, but it's mean like in terms of like, okay, well, like, what is their ability set? How big of a threat is an individual Darkin? It's weird, like you kind of saying that, Kane's he just really doesn't want to get taken over, and so he's not taken over, compared to like Aatrox, who is treated like in Runeterra, for example, as like he's like a boss in and of himself. Like Pantheon has to get his little Avenger Corps together to go like fight Aatrox in the Runeterra kind of story or whatever. I don't know. And it's like I don't know. Or not. I guess not Pantheon. I don't know. Maybe it's Kale or whoever. I guess my point is that like, how big are they? How big is a Darkin? Like, what do they do?
We need a power scale.
Yeah,
and where
that's what
are
I'm
the
going
Darkin
for.
on it? I would like if there was more of a reason why Cain is able to resist.
Why Cain is able?
John grew up Catholic. You can excuse him. Well, I'm done making my point. Let's talk about talking dogs more, John.
You like unleashed a verbal stun on her. She was unleashing like a combo, and then you just like stuffed it with that
Combo
bullshit.
breaker.
John does that a lot. She's like, Rebecca's having a thought. Better stop.
Can't have that.
But yeah, so why Cain is able. Continue.
I finished my sentence.
Oh.
Why Cain is able to stop a Darkin from taking over his little body.
His little body.
His weak, frail little body.
His weak, frail human
His
body.
shitty human body.
His shitty human Cain body. Aw, no, Cain looks great. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to body shame Cain.
Even a collie thinks he's hot.
Right, I was gonna say that guy doesn't need anybody giving him compliments. All right, don't prop him
fair.
up.
That's fair.
You know,
But yeah, there could be anything in his history, an ancestor related to the Darkin. I don't know, like a reason why, instead of
Or
just
maybe-
like, I don't wanna.
I think the thing is also like if he was, it's hard because there's only 5 of them, right? So it'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, he's the one who's like the exception. It's like, but we don't have a lot of examples of the rule for the exception to feel exceptional. In fact,
Right.
of the examples, there's another example. So it feels like
Yeah.
I don't know,
And
it's
Naafiri took
50-50.
over dogs, so who knows if she'd be able to take over a human. Maybe she'd fuck up too.
Right.
I love that. I feel like we're getting into a real negative place. I did like this bio. I like the way it was
me
written.
too. Sorry.
It's got
Yeah,
like
no,
her
it's
voice
fine.
kind of in it, you know.
Yeah, and I do love the idea of a Darkin taking over a pack of dogs.
It's a
instead of
very
a
cool
person.
idea.
It was
And
really
added
neat.
with the cinematic, like,
Oh, dope.
is very cool.
You did have to explain it to me because when I didn't know anything about Naafiri, so I'm watching the cinematic and I'm like, I'm dumb. Why does the knife have an eye, and why are there dogs here? But
yeah, because when she
it's-
came out, we hadn't even established she was a Darkin yet. So
No, I recommend. Well, I guess now that you've heard about the bio, it's fine. But the cinematic sure made more sense. I watched it after I read the bio.
And it's so in the bio they kind of talk about when she takes over the dog that her consciousness was split.
Yeah.
Which the cinematic I think does a really good job of actually visualizing that in a the kind of just disorienting feeling that she must have had when that was happening. But it was very cool.
Yeah, I had rewatched it after reading the bio because I watched it initially. I was like, okay, I kind of get the broad strokes of what's happening here, and then after reading the bio and you have a lot more context, I did find it interesting how it made it like it's from like I guess her perspective, and it makes her feel more like I want to say almost like a victim or I guess prey. Right? It's kind of some of the idea that runs in that video. Whereas you would expect, like, oh, she's a big fuck off Darkin, she's a big, badass motherfucker. But the fact that it seems like she's kind of having to adapt and sort of join with the pack in that way, or be kind of subsumed by it. I don't know. It's kind of neat. It's a neat turn a little bit.
I'm curious because something that happens with Aatrox, he still fights with his sword, I imagine. When he takes on a new human, then the human dies and he's back in his sword. What would happen to Naafiri then? Her dagger just got left behind, I imagine. I don't think she's carrying it in her doggy mouth anymore, is she? Is the dagger with her?
So she has a bunch, like, she has a whole pack, but, like, there is one main dog who has, like, blades all over her.
Okay.
So I would kind of assume
that one of them is the...
One of them is probably-
that makes more sense.
Yeah,
So I was
it's the
gonna
one
be
with
like,
an
is she just
earring.
going to get sucked back to her, like, dagger that's, like, buried under the sand or something?
like, shit.
Be a real bummer.
I mean, it is funny when you look at the like the champion theme video where they show like early concepts, because that seems like that was the initial concept, was a dog with a sword in its mouth, right? That would fight, kind of like a Sith type or something like that. So you kind of got to the core of.
What they were thinking.
I think so.
Do they have to kill... Would they have to kill the whole pack? Would she be able to feel it if the pack was, like, thinning out? they lost like 8 dogs or something
Does
like
she get
that.
dumber? It's just like, it's like losing brain cells. You interfere with me, kill you good.
Okay.
Darkin, come. We big strong.
Now you just sound like Mundo.
One Darkin weak, many Darkin strong.
This is just what happened to Mundo. This is the real Mundo backstory. Is that he was a Darkin. He was like 10 Mundos, and now there's just one.
That's pretty good.
Planet of the Blades.
Oh,
Yeah,
also
the blades.
in the video, the fucking font at the end with her name, sick.
Oh, it was very cool.
I really like that.
I frankly like that
Yeah.
they're like, and also here's the champion name, just in case you
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know what the fuck's happening. Naafiri.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I also liked, so one of the things that they mentioned, I think in the, one of the writers mentioned it that worked on it, was like they changed the color scheme after she turned into dogs to align more with the colors that dogs can see.
Oh,
Oh, really? Yeah, because they're like,
interesting.
they're colorblind in some specific way, right? They're like certain things
Yeah.
I can't see.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat. That's
Yeah.
nice forethought. But it was funny. Yeah, I watched it with Sarah. She's like, "So what's the new champion?" It's like, I think it's a bunch of dogs, but it's pretty cool. And yeah, like I said, I like the way the bio was written. I really like I feel like a lot of times when we read bios, it's like, it's whatever. It's just kind of telling you what happened. With this, after reading, it's like, oh, I get Naafiri's personality.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is good,
Yeah.
since there's no short story.
Yeah, right.
Fair. But I do think it's hard to write a bio that's like unbiased and straightforward while still showing us like what Naafiri's like.
Yeah, I mean, this one definitely leads
it's
into almost, I want to say, like, unreliable narrator, because her voice is coloring so much of how it's written.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's very clear with that, which I liked. Like, when she first gets all into the dogs, I don't know, she kind of like she like hates them. She's like, ugh, they're fleas and that, and most of all that they need companionship.
Gross.
Right?
They like
Ew.
each other. Ew.
So I guess I kind of like seeing Naafiri. There were two other things I like about Naafiri. I like that she's gone through a little bit of like personal growth almost.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of.
Friends are good Naafiri.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still using them to do evil shit, but it's like,
But
okay,
still.
it's a little more interesting. And I like the idea of like a Darkin who's actually trying to do something more than just kind of like an Aatrox type or like a Rost or whatever.
Yeah.
Really like low leveled or very specific, like too big in terms of blow up the world or too small in terms of take over this dude. But go out and collect all the Darkin is a little more like a nice
Gotta
middle
catch 'em
ground.
all.
Right? She's a little
tangible.
fucking Pokemon trainer.
Both went
Hey,
to the same
Aatrox, I
place.
choose you.
Well, that was Canon Naafiri, I think.
Now, all right, so I'll go over a few other things.
Great.
So in Mage Seeker, there is a letter you can find. So I have the contents of the letter here. It's kind of a little poem.
Oh, fuck.
Ooh, pretty.
Does it rhyme?
It does.
Okay.
But loss and suffering took its toll, crossed time and land, 5 tainted souls, bound in light, now fallen to night, deemed a new name, forever cursed. Darkin they were, their carnage dispersed. Throughout nations, fire and blood, devouring damnation, a crimson flood. Till arcane sorcery found hope's glimmer, chained to weapons they 5 simmered. For ages past locked away, never dead, but kept at bay. One blade bent on all things' demise, one scythe set on shadowed skies, one bow, arrows seeking atonement, one howl, reaping life's very moments, one mandate declared loud in hate, 5 known Darkin lie in wait, risen to imprison their harrowing fates.
So what's the last one?
That's
Just
we
a
think
mandate?
it's Solani. I don't
Yeah.
know what
I
what
feel like
weapon
the other ones were really obvious on the weapons. Does she just have like a scroll with a mandate on it?
Well, the thing too is that for Naafiri's, they don't say anything about a dagger. They just
that's
say,
true, they say howl.
one howl. And that also reminded me of the fact that, I mean, I haven't read the Varys bio. I've only seen the cinematic. They didn't touch a bow. at any point in that cinematic.
Yeah.
They fell into a well where Varys was imprisoned, but like, can they just
Maybe
imprison them in wells? They were very specific about weapons.
There was a bow in the well. One of them touched it with their toesies by accident.
The toe bow.
And they're like,
Varys
God,
fights with a
something
well.
touched my
What the
foot."
fuck are you talking about?
Be fucking great. Just
Like
sucking
fucking
chick
Breath
from the
of
ring.
the Wild
Oh, I was
bullshit right there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's some bullshit that, like you said, the bow is kept in the well and it's kept under like magical bullshit by Ionia to keep it from doing its bullshit. And it's like, and then they went in the well, like baby Jessica.
Wow.
Sorry, that's all I can think of when I think about people falling into wells. I'm sorry.
You can't think about Lassie or the ring?
No, I guess those are also things that could relate to the well. Everybody's down there. Fuck it.
We're all in wells.
Oh, Lassie? That's Naafiri? It's like,
Oh my
what
God.
happened to Naafiri? Did Varys fall down the well?
Lassie
What is a
spelled
girl?
with 2 A's.
Oh my god, yes.
We need the Lassie Naafiri skin, please.
She should be in Cats vs. Dog. Or
Right?
Dogs.
Oh my God. That has to
Not
be the next
dog.
one, right?
Yeah, that'd be
Cats
pretty good.
versus dog. Just one dog.
It's a big masses.
Now she's in 1AU.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The new one.
Soul Fighter.
Soul Fighter. Fighting
We'll
souls.
get caught up in the...
Thank you.
I love it.
We're fucking old.
Hey man, that commercial still slaps.
That's true. 90s, all 90s commercials fucking slapped.
That's
Dude.
true.
It was a different time.
Go look up
everybody.
Nintendo commercials
Just
from the
watch
90s.
fucking
Just watch
any
like a,
90s commercial.
So good.
Any Gushers commercial from the 90s.
Oh
you don't
my
need
God.
to do drugs. Just watch a Gushers commercial from the 90s.
Man, I forgot Gushers existed till you just said that.
They still make them.
Crazy.
They're still there
So
turning
are-
your head into fruit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, so their souls awakened by trial, one fought on a battlefield or in the very trenches of the mind. Each is granted unique abilities reflective of their nature and the power to conjure forth the very essence of their spirit. Some hone their strength, temper it with training. Others will use it only as a weapon to destroy. They are Soul Fighters.
Nice.
Is
This
this
looks like the new Fairy Court skin, honestly.
then which one? The Naafiri
The
one?
new Fairy one.
I could see that.
Right?
So it's Soul Fighter Naafiri, Failed Experiment, Dima Dog, the four-legged fighter. This creature has almost as many titles as it does separate entities it can summon. Does it want revenge on its former masters? To take over the world? I don't know. I'm no dog mind reader. It's Naafiri!
There's a bunch of dogs in the audience.
Now this has a cinematic
Oh.
called Coming Alive, which is a pretty cool fucking Samira cinematic. I mean, it centers on Samira fighting her way through the Soul Fighter arena, up kind of the ladder of opponents until she finally finds her way to Viego, and then she fucking rocks him and then has to fight God Eye Viego.
Ooh, fuck. Pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
This
And there's
AU is
also an
cool.
Yeah.
It is, and there's an in-client game for this AU, if you haven't played it yet.
Oh, do tell. Is it fun? Does it make you feel like you're good at League when you play it?
I actually, I kind of like it. It is nothing like League. It's like a side-scroller fighting game, basically, but you hit QWER to do your abilities.
Oh, fuck. I thought you were talking about
but-
2v2. Sorry.
Oh, no, although Naafiri is in that, too. But, no, there's a game called Tournament of Souls, bless you, where you play as Samira, fighting your way up the ranks of the fighters.
Cool.
And it's kind of like a strategy game where each opponent uses kind of a predictable set of moves in like the same order, and you kind of have to adjust which moves you have equipped and which moves you do to beat them. It's pretty fun.
Cool. I'll check it out.
Yeah, but Naafiri is one of the enemies you have to fight there. And like you mentioned, she also shows up in 2v2v2v2, V2, 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 V2.
Nice.
there are map hazards in some of the maps, and Naafiri, she and a few of her pack members are just doing kind of circles around the...
It's the worst one.
It's the worst one. They do circles around the map, and if they see you, they fucking jump on you, and it hurts.
Yep.
I got a handful of fun facts. Not a lot. There's not a lot of fun facts for her, because it's early.
Yeah.
Naafiri is voiced by Morla Garandona, who also voiced Harazi in Legends of Runeterra, if you play. Naafiri's codename in development was Hellhound, unsurprisingly. Naafiri's design, you're not going to believe this, partly inspired by African wild dogs.
Oh.
It gives me big, like, the hyenas from Lion King vibes, especially in, like, if you look at the Champion theme video, there's, like, little, like, character study things where she's, like, smirking and shit. And I thought I would like to see more of, I don't know, Naafiri smirking, being smug. I don't know.
Smile more, Naafiri.
Right? So pretty.
You'd be so much prettier.
It was pretty cool looking at all the different, because when they first were making her, they did not know which region she was going to be from. So they had different versions of Naafiri from different regions. So you can kind of see what that looks like before they kind of honed in on...
I'd love a skin like Elementalist Lux for her, where they could use some of those.
That'd be badass.
That would be really fucking cool.
Traveling around the world looking for the other Darkin.
Yeah, I like it.
That'd be badass. Now, Naafiri has a special joke animation, which comes in a sequence of 3 animations. It's called How to Give Naafiri the Good Pets.
Adorable.
So, the first animation plays when you press Control 1 twice, which shows Naafiri being pet on the head by a hand resembling the Legacy League cursor.
Just a hand that comes out of nowhere?
Yeah,
Pets her?
and it starts petting her head.
Yeah.
The second animation plays by pressing Control 2 right as the first animation ends, and that has Naafiri being pet on the neck before falling onto her back. And then finally, the third animation plays by pressing Control 3 right as the second animation ends, and you can see Naafiri being rubbed on the belly while lying down. And then pressing Control 3 again will, let you repeat it over and over again, as many times as you hit the button.
Man, we're getting the real pro strats here.
Yeah.
We don't only give gameplay tips on this podcast, but...
It's the easy way to win. You do that mid lane, they're going to be like, I can't interrupt this.
Oh my god, yeah.
But that's all I got for Naafiri.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
It's a quick one.
Yeah.
Still 40 minutes.
Almost. We were bullshitting a lot in the beginning there.
What?
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Any final thoughts on Naafiri?
I did think she reminded me a bit of Ivern a little bit in some of her journey. They both were kind of assholes, and then they both had to be stuck in something for a really long time, and then they both changed. But Ivern, broke good, different. And she didn't break bad. I guess she was already a dick. They both grew, so maybe it'll be fun to have them have some weird interaction. I don't know. He likes all the creatures of the forest, but he's got to kill dogs. I don't know. Sorry.
I was gonna ask actually, who would you pair Naafiri with, if you could?
Like for a short story?
Yeah, like something going on.
I mean, I do feel like they've really...
a villain would be fun, but...
I mean, they've really set up that she should be meeting up with Varys at some point. Like, I feel like they've put the groundwork in here. I'd be surprised, honestly, even if the short story wasn't in some way related to that when we finally do get one. But outside of the obvious Darkin, I would like her to recognize the threat of the void.
I was gonna say I want her to meet. I was gonna say I want her to meet Belveth.
Sure.
Because I'm curious how that would look to her. That's a very different evil there.
Yeah, and Belveth's got a weird, almost kind of amalgam mind meld consciousness thing going on. You see that? I go with Ivern. I think that's a fun weird
that's delightful.
Contrast.
That's such a Mark answer.
I like Ivern too, I'll say. So
Or Alistar, you know.
Yeah, you know what, Alistar? Let me change it.
Actually, now that I think about it, I'm rethinking my answer.
Okay.
Because she's
Yeah,
probably
you're on the
already
Alistar
familiar
train.
with the... Because back before there were Darkin, when there was just Ascended, they already got their shit kicked in by the Void, so she's probably
fair.
already intimately aware of their strength. So maybe instead...
It's a good question.
Oh, boy.
Oh no, he's
Oh,
locked.
no.
He's in analysis paralysis, folks. His mind is racing.
Aurelia.
Aurelia.
And I would, since she can make Blades dance, I wonder if she could make Naafiri dance.
She can, but it's only with like positive reinforcement training.
Positive reinforcement.
Hey.
All right, that was Naafiri. I apologize. Thank you so much for listening. We have merch and an easier link now to remember. It is bit.ly/loreheadmerch. That's all you have to type in now. No weird dashes.
No.
Not going to fuck it up anymore, folks.
No,
bit.ly/loreheadmerch. That's it. We have shirts and sweatshirts and fun stuff there.
Yeah.
Woo! I haven't ordered any yet, but I will one day, and I'm excited. And soon I'm just only going to wear Lorehead merch whenever we record.
Oh, sure, yeah. I guess I assumed I could somehow embezzle some, but I can just order it. It's fine.
I think you need to buy it, Mark.
I know John personally, okay? So let me just...
I don't know this fucking guy.
We have a Twitter. It's @Loreheads, and a Twitch, twitch.tv/Loreheads. John streams on Saturdays. He does TFT and ARMs with viewers, and I stream Mondays, Tuesdays, or maybe I don't stream one week because I had a rough time. Get off my back.
You want to fight about it? Fuck.
Do you want to fight about it?
Hey, you
I
know,
normally
sometimes-
stream League. I do have an invite to the closed beta for Palia, and I have it downloaded, so I am debating streaming that this weekend, although it will be after this episode goes up, so we'll see if I did it or not. Maybe it'll be next week. Maybe I'll have an additional stream or something.
Woo.
Maybe Sunday I'll hit, and I'm like, I just want to play League with my friends. Anyway, we have a YouTube where we post this stuff and some clips and things.
It's fun.
I got drunk. Discord.
You're almost there. You can do it.
There was not even that much fucking rum in that bottle, y'all. This is really sad. Yeah, we have a Discord. The link is in the description of this episode, and our Twitter if you want to hop in with folks and chat. And we have a Patreon. Thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you to our Medarda tier patrons, Big Man Gnomes, King of Hearts, Shupa Moustache, Trideca, and I slit the sheet I slit, and on the slitted sheet I sit. If you all were collectively a pack of wolves in Shurima, I would also band us all together so that we could ride as one!
Oh, huzzah!
To the glorious Tipper. Yeah.
You sounded so drunk when you did that.
I'm not that drunk.
No, I know. It was just really funny. Oh my god, Mark, we tested out the stroller wagon, and Poppy looks so cute in it. And I can't wait to go to Invent Fair and shove our babies inside of that wagon.
Fuck
together.
yes.
It's going to be so cute.
Everyone's itching to get in that wagon.
I think I am over the weight limit. Please be sure to join us next week, folks, for not a short episode, as we talk about the unshackled Silas.